I got something a little different for a video today. I'm normally a video gaming channel only, but I've had a lot of people ask me how I do my makeup and stuff, and I do it occasionally on stream. And I know as a trans girl how difficult learning this stuff can be. We kind of have to learn a lot of it on the fly. So I'm gonna go through like every routine that I have as far as makeup goes. I never do this much makeup ever, but I figure it might be informational, and if you need one specific part, it's chaptered out in the seek bar down here. So definitely check that out. And I don't want to say that I'm like a expert makeup artist or anything like that. So as with a lot of these things, I would say if you're just learning how to use makeup, kind of absorb all the makeup tutorials you can and figure out what works for you. But here's what works for me, and I think it'll be helpful, hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. Let's get started. Alright, so first step is, if you have long hair that sits in your face, you're going to want to get it up and out of your face. I use a headband. Typically it doesn't have cat ears, but it's the only one I could find. So now I get to show off my face in all its glory. Alright, so first up is I'm just using some like face primer base stuff. This is Master Prime by Face Studio from Maybelline, if that's an option. I also forgot to mention, I like to listen to music when I do makeup. It makes me like worry less about how perfect I'm applying the makeup. Specifically, I'm listening to the best MCR album, I Brought You My Bullets, so whatever will work though. So yeah, we'll just put a bit of this on our hands and put it all over our face. Up next is the concealer. I'm using Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser in whatever their palest one is. And this is just for the bags under my eyes. You can see they're pretty brutal. You can actually see last night's makeup. I didn't realize I didn't take it off super well last night. But we're just gonna put it under our eyes to get rid of those bags and make it look like I actually slept more than 4 hours today. Fair warning, if you just used the like primer, it can make your hands super slippery and difficult to open this bottle. Just as a heads up. Alright, that's what it looks like before we blend it out. Also, I do have a mirror that I'm using and looking into, instead of like into the camera. I'm going to try to show off every step, because I'm like crouched down into the mirror, right? So I'm going to try to show off every step into the camera before we move on. But the alternative was like a really unflattering face cam like down in that corner. I tried it out and I was like, no, let's not do that. Alright, so there you can see, gets rid of those bags pretty well. It might not match super well with like my unfoundationed face, but it's pretty close. And once I put the foundation on, it'll match a lot better. So that's what we're gonna move on to next. I use, again, Maybelline, that Fit Me, like they're just kind of cheap makeup. It comes in a ton of different shades and stuff. For me, I use the Fair Ivory, the 105, because again, super pale skin, and it fits my undertone, which is something I don't know a ton about, but I would recommend looking it up to see like what your undertone is, and that'll help you with color matching your foundation and stuff. The other advantage to this stuff is it's fairly cheap. It's like, I don't know, $3, $4 for a bottle of this. So when I was first learning, I was way off, like way off. So I do have like a drawer in my bathroom of just like a ton of foundations that do not match me. But the advantage there is I was only out $3, $4, which isn't great when it's makeup that you can't use at all. So if you like, you can just go into like an Ulta or something and have an associate help like color match you, stuff like that. But if you're afraid to do that like I was, I did end up just trying a handful of different ones until I found one that worked. So we're just gonna apply this all over our face. Alright, so there's foundation done. As you can see, my face is slightly more even. So we're going to move on to something a little weird next. It's a little out of order and I don't do it often, but since I'm doing the full gamut, we're going to move to eyebrows. And that's going to include plucking here, which I'll probably speed through. So yeah, for eyebrows, as you can see, like my underneath gets quite a lot. So I'm going to be plucking a lot of the underneath, and from what I've heard, you typically want to go and grab the stuff under instead of going from the top and like trying to shape downwards, and then we just kind of want it to be like a little more pointed and sharp on the end. So I will show the final process and speed through the plucking process because it's not my favorite thing in the world. Alright, so that's slightly better. not a ton. I should probably shape them a bit more, but my pain tolerance hit its limit, so we're gonna stop there and move on to the filling it in section. I'm realizing now I have a lot of Maybelline products. This one is a Total Temptation eyebrow definer. It's got a little brushy thing. We're just gonna scoot it all to the side and up. Before we fill anything in. And I already saw a spot that I should reshape. But then we're gonna take this and we're just gonna try to follow along at a slightly sharper angle than what our eyebrow gives. That doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm trying to do the shape that we're going for. It's like a slightly up and then down deal. And it's sharper at the tail. That I don't know how to describe it better. I'm so sorry. Alright, to show the difference, there's one eyebrow with, and there's one without. This is not my strong suit, as you can tell, but it helps a little bit. And if you're a mask presenting person, like, plucking and shaping your eyebrows is not a gendered thing, and I think it can make you look like just a little extra bonus that'll make you look really good. So definitely try it out too, even if you're mask presenting. Alright, there's eyebrows. It's quite a bit different, as you can see. I actually might need to change colors on this to something lighter. But it adds a bit of flavor, texture. Anyway, we're moving on. The eyebrows are not my favorite thing in the world, so definitely watch anyone else's video on how to do them correctly. Alright, so next up we're going to do eyeshadow. You can maybe see something different about the inside corners of my eyes. That was from a previous take that I fucked up really bad. If you want to see that, it'll be on the bloopers and Patreon. But we're going to move to eyeshadow next, and the first step of that is eyeshadow primer. My skin does not take eyeshadow raw super well, so I have to use the primer. I know some people don't, but it's fairly standard. It's stinky. It's the stinkiest makeup thing ever. I have tried a lot of different ones. I am not married to any one of these. I think they are all perfectly serviceable. Just a little bottle of eyeshadow primer. This is Milani. So we're just gonna put this on the top of our eyes. Quick note about eyeshadow primer. With every single one that I've used, I have had to blend a shitload. Because if I don't, with my hooded eyes, it'll kind of like rebuild up and re-liquefy. And so when I go like that, it'll have like a layer right where my hood sits, and it's very strange. So just make sure you blend it a lot, just in case. Alright, next up is eyeshadow, and this is for how much I've done makeup, I put off doing eyeshadow a lot. I don't do it unless I'm going out to the club or something. Or I'm taking a very specific set of like cosplay selfies. I really won't do eyeshadow. So I don't know it super well, especially when it comes to what brands to use or anything. However, I've heard Morph palettes are very good. The palette I'll be using here is a Morph palette. It's definitely the palette that has pigmented the eyeshadow best on my eyes. It doesn't look faded or anything like that. And then as far as brushes, I got one of these big packs of brushes at the Walgreens. But I'm sure there are tons of different brushes out there that'll work well. So we're gonna grab one that is just gonna be for putting the makeup on our eyelid. We're gonna have a different one for blending, a different lighter one. And then what we're gonna do is kind of a smoky eye deal today. So most eyeshadow looks, you can get some really complicated ones like cut creases and stuff like that. I do not know how to do that. This is gonna be a little bit basic in that regard. But what we're gonna do is have the dark color on the outside of our eye and a light color on the inside. And this is pretty standard with a lot of different eyeshadow looks. A lot of people recommend this, and this is what I've always done. And then the third thing that we will have is a transition shade. So we will just kind of put it like right along the border of where we think we're gonna put our like primary eyeshadow colors, and just follow that with kind of an in-between color in between our skin tone and what that color is gonna be. So for me, it's gonna be a light brown, specifically this one here, and we're just gonna put it where we think the colors might meet up. And this is the brush we'll use for blending. You can see the bristles are a little wider, a little lighter. Just makes it easier for blending. Alright, so there we have our transition shade. Next we're gonna move on to the black of our smoky eye. This palette has a really nice, like slightly sparkly color that we're gonna use. And we're gonna get mostly just in the top here, and then the slightest bit underneath. Not a ton. Actually, I lied. I'm not gonna do it underneath because I always screw it up. So we're gonna do it just like in this top area where the eyeliner is primarily gonna be, and we're gonna kind of use our, we'll see when we get to the eyeliner portion, we're gonna have it just be like the bottom border. So eyeshadow's not gonna go below it. And this is also where I can bring up, and we'll just do it again. On the inside corner of our eyes, following that same like dark color, light color concept we were earlier, we're taking this brush eyeliner that I am very bad with, but since we don't need it to be super specific because we're gonna blend it out, and we're gonna put this just on the inside corners of our eyes. And that ended up being a lot, but that's okay. It'll just be extra bold. So here's what it's kind of looking like before we blend it. You can see there's like a gap kind of on our eyelashes here. We're not going to worry a ton about that. We're using eyeliner in this look as well, and that's going to cover that line up just fine. But if you're not using eyeliner, it might be worth trying to get in between the lashes a little bit more. And now we're going to blend this. And as you blend, if you start to see, like, open and close your eyes a bit, and if you start to see a spot where there's not enough, you can just reapply a little bit. Alright, and here's what that's kind of gonna look like when it's mostly blended. And so the thing about eyeshadow is if you think you've blended enough, you haven't. And you should blend some more, probably. Yeah, I like the look of that. So now we're gonna do a light color on the inside. We're gonna take this like pale, glittery one. There. And then once we get it mostly in there, you can see I got a little bit of purple. That's really weird. That's my bad. We're gonna ignore that. And we can just kind of blend in between the two colors. A little bit. And then we can take our blend brush and do it even more and even better. Alright, and there's kind of a general smoky eye look. It'll look even better once the eyeliner's on. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to jump ahead for you guys. Alright, and there's our other eye. We've got both now. So, next up, we're moving on to eyeliner. Eyeliner's a lot of fun. I mentioned it briefly before. There are a lot of different eyeliners you can use. There's pencils, there's liquid pens, there's the paintbrush ones. I'm not a fan of the paintbrush ones, but if you're like more, I don't know, maybe you were raised by a painter or something and really have a knack for it, it might be the way to do it. But I have a tough time getting sharp lines. I prefer, and I learned on, just like the sharp gel pens. This one in specific is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. Very sharp, or something like that. And this works really well. I enjoy this a lot. Another fun thing about eyeliner is, as I mentioned with my hooded eyes, I actually can't do a lot of the like really sharp, straight across, like bold winged eyeliner looks. I can go like shape them under the hood, which does look really, really good. So if you have eyes like me, I do recommend that. The other thing I can do, and what I'm going to do today, is kind of a neat technique that it's kind of reminiscent of like those fold books where you fold them and it makes another picture. It's going to be kind of like that, but I'll show each step in the process along the way so you can follow along. All right. So here's like an initial one. You can see we just kind of followed our eye all the way up and it's well over the hood of our eyelid there. So you may be thinking, well, how do you get across this? What we're gonna do is we're gonna close our eyes and go straight through to where the hood of our eye kind of folds over. And this is gonna create like a secondary wing, kind of. So I'll show you what that looks like, because it's kind of cool. And the other thing here is, as you're doing your like wing outwards, I do recommend just like resting your eyes out a bit and seeing where they lay flat and kind of fixing the bottom from there. Also, this like purple that was in that light color, it actually looks kind of good. I'm obsessed with that now. So here you can see like an L shape being done almost, and that's the secondary wing. So you can see when it closes, it kind of looks like a normal wing, and then when you open your eyes, you'll have like a second little bonus thing there. So I'll fill this in and show you what it looks like. All right, so now we have it filled in. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna close our eyes and just do a normal eyeliner along the top of our eye. And it's just gonna match up with where that hood folds down to, where the wing from that hood folds down to. And that's the gist of it. So I'll show you what it looks like when we get there. All right, and there you have it. So you can see when our eyes are open, you get like a second wing there. And when they're closed, it just looks normal. So this is a fun little thing you can do with hooded eyes if you want to do certain makeup looks that you typically can't. You just have to do this kind of layered system, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I like doing this, but we're not done with eyeliner yet. No, we have a lot to go. So as you can see, I went all the way to the inside corner of my eye here. We're gonna go even farther beyond. We're gonna do a little triangle. So we're just gonna follow the angle that the top eye makes and just make a triangle out of that. Now you should have something like that, which is pretty cool, but there's more. So now we're gonna follow along the bottom of our waterline and connect to the other side to kind of outline our entire eye. This is a very bold look. I don't do it a lot of the time, but it's very fun and it looks really cool. All right, and there we have that, but we're also not done. This is actually a really big tip that's really important. I don't know if you can see it super well because I can't look at the camera and at my OBS face cam at the same time, but you can see there should be a little gap around my eyelashes on the top eye. We're going to fix that. We're going to try to go in between our lashes and directly underneath them just to fill it out into one solid color. This is huge. I highly recommend if you're learning eyeliner, you learn this as well. It doesn't look bad if you have that gap per se, but I do like it when it's all one solid color, and it helps just like make your eyeliner look more complete, I guess. And there you have it. It's a little rough around the edges, but I'm really happy with it. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. It's the exact same thing. You just want to mirror it. And this can be hard when you're first learning any sort of eye makeup, is making the two eyes look identical. You just gotta get practice with it. It can be really weird, especially with the eyeliner, because now, whereas normally I'm like holding the pen like this and going out, I have to hold it like this and go out, and that's a lot tougher for me. But we're gonna make it work, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, and there's both eyes. Fun fact, these are not symmetrical. I actually fucked up the inside corner on this one. But this is a lesson. You don't need to scrutinize it so hard. It's probably pretty chill at the end of the day. So, next up we are doing contouring. This is a huge one, especially for trans folks. There are lots of different ways to contour. I use a contour powder palette thing. It also has highlights. I just use the contour. There's liquid contour, all kinds of different stuff you can use. I would say experiment around, or you know, whatever works. So here, I'm gonna show you the way I do it for feminine contour. So there you can kind of see the direction. It's angled. If I wanted to do it mask, I would do it slightly differently. Once again, I would do like and curve down kind of a deal. And then we're just gonna blend it out. And there you go. You can kind of see it's, I need to blend that more. There, you can kind of see it like, just exemplifies that area a bit. Contouring is very new to me. It's probably the most recent thing I've added to my makeup repertoire, and I don't actually know how much it affects anything, but it makes me feel better, which is kind of the point, right? Next thing is we're going to do an e-girl nose look. So we're going to contour the edges of our nose. Some people contour their entire nose, and then we're going to do highlighter in the middle. That's the whole gist of it. It's going to look very weird at first. You got to trust the process. Then we take our highlighter. This is just a makeup stick. That's what it says. Mega Glow Makeup Stick. Just gonna put this in the middle. And there we have it. My nose looks a lot different now. Not a ton different, but like, it's all exemplified or whatever. Next up's a fun one. Next up, we're going to do blush. Blush is weird. Blush is not something I think about very often. You can use a ton of different stuff for blush. You can use red eyeshadow. You can use blush. I use this 5-color thing, and you may be thinking, rose, there's only 4 colors there. I used the bottom one so much it busted off its hinges, so we don't use that one anymore. There's also a lot of different ways you can do a makeup look. The advantage here is, like, especially in where e-girl makeup fashion is at right now, there's really no wrong way to do blush. There are a lot of really cool styles that I do. One is like just like really heavy blush all the way across, like over your nose and everything, and then very lightly blended. That's really hot right now. I like to just do my cheekbones recently when I'm doing a more subtle look, but once again, you can't really go wrong. Some people like just do the outside of their cheeks and it looks really good. So you just gotta work with it and see what's best. All right, and there we have it. 10 times out of 10, this is where I would stop the makeup tutorial. This is the makeup I wouldn't even do this much. Like doing eyeshadow, I'm loving the way the eyeshadow turned out, by the way. That was actually kind of crazy. Completely incidental, but there you go. You can put like a 3rd color in the middle and it looks great. We're gonna do lip makeup and lashes. I wanted this tutorial to be all-encompassing on anything I've ever done, even if I don't do it consistently. These last 2 steps, I almost never do. I have a bad habit of picking at my lips all the time. They're almost always chapped or bleeding or something along those lines. So I don't do lip makeup often, just because it's like a weird feeling on my lips, but I'll do it occasionally if it fits. Lashes, I almost never do. So a lot of what people do a lot of the time is just curl and then mascara. We're gonna do fake lashes here, but I'll go over if you're not doing fake lashes as well. All right, as far as tools for this go, I just use a curler. I need some scissors, some eyelash glue, the lashes, and some mascara. If you're not doing fake lashes, you really only need the curler and the mascara. The curler is just to, I don't know, curl your eyelashes, make them pop a little bit more, have that like curve upwards. That makes it a lot more noticeable. So we're gonna do that. And just hold it for, I don't know, 10 seconds. I don't do this often. This is the part of the video where I highly recommend ingesting a ton of other people's makeup videos as well, just to figure out what works best, because this is where I'm most limited in my knowledge. And then so, if you weren't doing fake lashes, what you would do here is just mascara up along your lashes. You can do your bottom lashes too, but do be careful. Mascara is notoriously difficult to get off of skin and stuff, so what I like to do is just do the top lashes and then kind of blink my eyes together a little bit, and it'll kind of naturally flow onto the bottom lashes. I don't know how good that technique actually is. I very rarely just wear mascara, but that is what you do. So the next step is lashes. These are my last 2 lashes, so I have to not fuck it up. If you see a cut in the video, I fucked it up. So these lashes, I think I don't even remember where I bought them. I bought them 2.5 years ago. And I do it so rarely, and so many of these were wasted just learning how to do it. I can say I've maybe used fake lashes legitimately, like, I think I can count the number of times on one hand. This will be the 6th let's say. So the first thing you'll notice is these are pretty big. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off the ends. But what you wanna do is cut it off from the like long end. The shorter hairs go on the inside of your eye, and you want those to stay as short as possible. So if you cut from the short side, suddenly the inside of your eye has longer lashes than usual, I guess, and it just looks a little different. So I would recommend the long side. At least that's what I was taught. As far as the amount to take off, I believe I was told I needed to measure my eye and find out, but on these lashes, they kind of have sections where the lashes will crisscross, and I cut it just after the first crisscross. This is something you'll also have to learn on your own, unfortunately. It is not super straightforward. And next up is the fun part. We take our lash glue, we put it along the like outside of the lash there, or on the inside of the lash there, the opposite. I hope you listen to the whole directions before trying it there. And then we're gonna let it dry and get a little tacky. I don't know the exact timing for this. I always give it like 10 seconds. Some people give it longer, some people put it on right away. I do like about 10 seconds, and I feel pretty comfortable. And now comes the hard part. I don't have a great way to show this on camera, but I just kind of go from the inside and scoot around, if that makes sense. And it's really tough. You will fuck it up if this is your first time. So yeah, just practice. Alright, now once you've kind of got it on there, you can kind of squish your eyelashes into the fake one, if that makes sense. And then to finish it out, there are a couple things you can do. Mascara, just to kind of link the two a little bit better, and then check where that inside corner, I always can't quite get it flush with my eyelash, so I have to redo the eyeliner a little bit so it matches up with that end of the eyelash, if that makes any sense at all. That one turned out far from perfect, but it is serviceable, at the very least. Now we do the same thing on the other side. And there you have it. Once again, far from perfect. I have a lot to learn in the lashes department, but I did want to show you how I do it, and also recommend go watch somebody else's video, because I will be, before I try doing lashes again. So, last thing here is the lipstick. As I mentioned, I don't do this often, and I don't actually have a ton of skills or anything here. I like don't know how to overline my lips at all. I don't know how to do that cute like sharp edge thing at all. So this is gonna be very, very basic in this regard. We're gonna go with a black lipstick since it seems to fit the whole vibe at the moment. And then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to follow my lips for now and maybe go a little bit over on the top lip and see how it looks. Alright, there we have an attempt at black lipstick. I am not 100% sure how it looks. I think it looks okay. And we're good with okay. Okay is good enough a lot of the time. So now I'm gonna put my hair back down. This is not a hair video today. I'll do a different hair video today because I wear my hair in a lot of different ways now. And there we have it, a Rose Waltz makeup tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed this and maybe learned something. I know I am always trying to keep learning how to do these cool makeup things, and I will be looking up a lot more stuff to round out my makeup. This was eye-opening for me, strangely enough, and learning that I need to do a lot more with lashes and a lot more with my lips to make them look even better. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna do a cute little smile for the thumbnail. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.